Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we're doing a deep dive into vehicle transport services. We're zeroing in on one company, DQ Trans LLC. We've got a pretty detailed overview here. So our mention for you today isn't just, listing facts. It's about pulling out the really useful stuff from what they say, stuff that helps you understand what goes into finding a good shipping partner and what trust actually means in this business.
Yeah, it's interesting how much detail a company like this puts out there, trying to build that trust, trying to stand out. We'll look at, not just what they do, but the little details behind it, why their way of doing things actually matters if you need to ship a car.
All right, let's jump right in then. What's the very first thing that stands out about DQ Trans LLC when you look at how they build that foundation of trust and experience?
Well, right away they talk about how long they've been around, their track record. They say over a decade. And in any service business, especially something complex like moving cars, a decade, well, that says something. It means they've stuck around.
Right, stability. And it's not just about the years, is it? They seem to have some pretty solid numbers to back that claim up.
Exactly. They mention being a top-rated transportation broker in Central Dispatch. Now, Central Dispatch, that's a big deal in the industry. It's like the main hub where brokers and carriers connect, so being top-rated there, that's a strong signal. They also say they're trusted by over 500 carriers nationwide.
500 carriers. Wow. That suggests a pretty wide reach.
It does. A broad network is key for, getting things done efficiently across the country.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me, though. They mentioned 500 plus verified customer reviews, and not just anywhere, but across places like the BBB, Yelp, Trustpilot, Google. That's a lot of public feedback.
It really is. And you combine that volume with their claimed A+ BBB rating and that 4.9 out of 5 average customer review score. That's powerful stuff in this industry. Trust is hard won. Seeing numbers like that from third parties, it suggests they're consistently getting it right for customers. It points to transparency.
Yeah, definitely. So for you, the listener, what they're trying to do here is tackle that big worry head on. Can I trust these guys with my car? They're laying out their credentials, basically. Okay, so they talk about core principles: reliability, transparency, customer satisfaction. Nice words, but how do those actually turn into real benefits for someone shipping their car?
Well, a big part of it is their network, those insured FMCSA licensed carriers. FMCSA, that's the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. It's the government oversight. So, vetting carriers against strict safety and service standards isn't just talk. It means they're using pros who meet federal requirements. That directly reduces your risk.
Okay, and that seems to connect directly to things like competitive pricing with no hidden fees. That's huge, right? Because nobody likes surprise charges.
Absolutely. Hidden fees are a classic frustration in logistics. Things like fuel surcharges suddenly appearing or extra costs for residential pickup nobody mentioned up front. Claiming no hidden fees suggests they're aiming for upfront honesty, which is refreshing.
So it's about managing expectations financially.
Yeah.
What else?
Well, then there's the actual journey. They offer real-time GPS tracking. I mean, knowing where your car is, that offers real peace of mind.
Yeah, definitely reduces the anxiety.
And flexible scheduling, including expedited options if you're in a rush, plus dedicated customer support from the start right through to delivery. It really makes you think, what does peace of mind actually involve when you're handing over the keys to one of your biggest assets?
And it looks like their customers pick up on this. The reviews they mention highlight stuff like transparent pricing, professional communication, careful handling, apparently minimal damage claims, and on-time pickup and delivery in most cases. They even say many clients are repeat customers. That's a strong sign, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Repeat business is maybe the best indicator there is. It means you didn't just do it once, you did it well enough that people came back. That speaks volumes.
Right. So it's clear they don't just offer one standard service. They seem to tailor things.
Yeah.
What are the different options they lay out? Who are they for?
Exactly. They start with open auto transport. That's the most common type you see on the highway. It's their most cost-effective choice. Good for your regular car, maybe moving a student's car, dealership inventory, that sort of thing. It still comes with substantial insurance, $100,000 cargo insurance, and typical transit times are, maybe 1 to 5 days for shorter trips, 5-10 days coast to coast.
Okay, standard option. But what if you've got something a bit more special, like a classic car or a new luxury model? Exposure to the elements is a concern there.
Precisely. And for that, they offer enclosed auto transport. This is the premium service, designed specifically for luxury, exotic, classic cars. Think climate-controlled trailers, protection from dust and weather. They mention using soft straps, wheel nets, liftgate loading techniques to avoid any scratches or damage during loading. And the insurance coverage is higher too, $250,000 available.
So that extra cost buys you extra protection and care. Makes sense. What if the main issue isn't the type of car, but just time, like you need to move now?
Yep, they have an answer for that too. Expedited car shipping. This guarantees a much faster pickup, usually within 48 hours. They use priority dispatch and plan direct routes with minimal stops to speed things up.
Okay, so that's for urgent situations. And then there are the really big moves, like internationally, or to Hawaii or Alaska.
Right. They cover that with international and Hawaii-Alaska shipping. This includes handling cross-border transport to Canada and Mexico and arranging ocean freight for Hawaii and Alaska. Crucially, they also mention full customs and port documentation support. Anyone who's dealt with customs knows that support is incredibly valuable.
So putting it all together,
Mm-hmm.
what this range means for you, the listener, is that you don't have to force your situation into one box. They seem to have a specific tool for almost any job. Finding the right fit becomes the focus, not just finding any shipper.
Okay, so we've talked about the services they offer, but how do they actually make sure things go smoothly? What's happening behind the curtain to ensure satisfaction? A key piece seems to be their rigorous carrier vetting process. It's not just checking a box. They state they verify FMCSA authority and insurance for every carrier. They check safety records. They even look at customer feedback on the carriers themselves. This multi-layered check minimizes the risk of ending up with a, unreliable or unsafe carrier handling your vehicle. It's protection for you.
In the process of actually booking and staying informed, they seem to focus on making that easy too.
Yes, they call it seamless booking and communication. Starts with getting a, quote, instant online, or you can call them. Then, crucially, they assign a dedicated transport coordinator, one person for your shipment. That avoids getting bounced around departments.
That one point of contact is huge, I think.
Definitely. And they provide 24/7 tracking updates via email or text, so you're not just left wondering, where is my car?
Okay, and they also talk about a damage-free delivery commitment. That sounds ambitious in the world of logistics. How do they back that up?
It is ambitious. Their process involves a few steps. First, pre-shipment inspection reports, documenting the car's condition before it's loaded. Then, driver confirmation at pickup and delivery, where both sides agree on the condition. And importantly, they offer assistance with claims if needed, while noting that claims are rare. It's about being proactive to prevent damage and having a clear process if something, unfortunately, does happen.
Right, managing the risk in the process.
Mm.
And finally, what about paying for it all? And scheduling flexibility.
Yeah, their flexible payment and scheduling seems pretty customer-friendly. A big one is no upfront payments.
Yeah.
They say you're charged only after carrier dispatch. That builds trust, right? You're not paying fully before the service even starts.
It's a major confidence booster.
For sure. They also offer multiple payment options, Zelle, credit cards, even cash on delivery. So flexibility there. And they mention free rescheduling, though it's subject to availability. Still, having that option if your plans change is a nice safety net.
It really feels like they've thought about the common anxieties people have with shipping a car: trust, communication, payment, potential damage, and tried to build processes to address each one.
Exactly. It looks like a systematic approach to tackling those pain points.
And we don't just have to rely on their descriptions, right? They included some specific customer testimonials. Those always help make it real.
They do. It puts a human face on the service. For instance, there's Mark T. on Google, gave 5 stars. He said, DQ Trans shipped my Corvette from Florida to California in perfect condition. Communication was excellent. Driver was professional. That touches on handling a specific type of car and the communication aspect again.
Corvette, so that speaks to their careful handling, potentially the enclosed service.
Mm-hmm.
And what about from a business perspective, like a dealership?
Yeah, there's one from Sarah Kay on the BDB. She's with a dealership and says they've used DQ Trans for years. She calls them reliable, affordable, and always deliver on time. That consistency is crucial for a business relationship. Reliability and affordability over the long haul.
That's strong praise, especially the years part. Shows staying power. Any others?
One more here, David L. on Trustpilot, also 5 stars. He shipped his Porsche. He specifically mentions the enclosed transport service was worth every penny, 0 issues. So that reinforces the value people see in that premium enclosed option for high-value cars.
Yeah, those specific stories, the Corvette, the Porsche, the dealership's experience, they really help illustrate the claims for you, the listener. Shows it working in the real world for different needs. Okay, so let's wrap this up. We've gone pretty deep into DQ Trans LLC. We looked at their experience, over a decade in the business, that big network, over 500 carriers. And the reviews, 500 plus verified 5-star reviews across major platforms like BBB, Google, Trustpilot. That's significant.
And we talked about their core principles translating into real benefits. The transparent pricing, the focus on careful handling, the different service types open, enclosed, expedited, even international.
We also got into how that detailed carrier vetting process, the smooth booking with dedicated coordinators and tracking, the damage prevention focus.
Right, and the flexible payment stuff, like no money down until dispatch. It all paints a picture of a company trying hard to deliver a stress-free auto transport experience, as they put it, for individuals, dealerships, whoever needs it.
So as you think about everything we've unpacked here, maybe consider this question. In a world full of, big ticket items and complicated logistics, what's the actual worth of a company that doesn't just move your stuff safely, but also seems genuinely focused on giving you peace of mind? Through being upfront, communicating well, and proving it with a long track record, what does it really take day in and day out to earn that kind of consistent trust from customers and hundreds of carriers for over 10 years? Something to think about.